a little bit of an extra video for people here. Hi, how's everybody? I suppose everyone weren't expecting to see me so soon. But I thought I'd do a little video on the League 2 playoff games that have happened over this weekend. And I'll take you through my opinion and what and my thoughts on this. And that is because I can be sort of solid on this and kind of look at the games in a sort of relaxed manner. So the first game we are going to talk about is the game from last night, which was Wimbledon up against Notts County. Now Wimbledon, one of the tightest defences in League 2, well, the tightest defence in League 2, and one of the most stubborn defences and stubborn teams. Obviously making playoffs on the very last day, and they kind of carried on doing what they have been doing throughout the season. Wimbledon at Meadow Lane on Saturday night, it was just kind of, you look at the overall quality of the two sides and you're thinking, well, Wimbledon shouldn't really be anywhere near any of this. If we look at the two teams for both sides, Notts County had Bass in goal, Macari, Platt and Badu, Jones, Abbott, Palmer and Austin, Grant, McGoldrick and Shatter up front. Wimbledon had the goalkeeper of the year, which I agree, in Goodman, Harbottle, Lewis, Johnson, Tilly, Smith, Reeves, Hippolyte, Norvale, Brown and Stevens. One of the league's top scorers, Stevens, but it was a game of this was always going to be a game that will be decided by, I believe, by Notts County. Obviously being at home, Notts County naturally would start as favourites, but they have not been as strong at home this season as in previous seasons. And Wimbledon, they're kind of like the quintessential smash and grab team, really. They're not going to go gung-ho for you, although it was quite a lively game between the two sides. But Wimbledon are just a really difficult team. They're so well organised. Notts County, though, had numerous chances, and they hit the bar once, at the post, thanks to Jody Jones a couple of times. How in the world Notts County weren't 3 or 4 up, I will never know. But it was just, it must be frustrating if you're Notts County fans. Any Notts County fans that do watch my videos at all, let me know really what you guys think. I think Notts County probably in the first half just edged the game against Wimbledon, but again, the Wombles are one of the most difficult teams to actually break down. There's a reason why in the league they've only conceded 35 goals. This was a quintessential reason of that. The amount of chances that Notts County had during the game, if we look at the match stats of this game, they had 12 shots and 6 of those were on target. Wimbledon had 10 shots. They had 20% less possession than Notts County. Total touches in the box, Notts County had 5 more than Wimbledon. If you look at the stats, it all went in Notts County's favour. Everything went in Notts County's favour. They made their goalkeeper make at least 5 saves and good saves as well. The amount of corners was 6-5 in Notts' favour. Everything was really Notts, to be honest. They had more block shots, they had more attempts out the box, they had about the same side. They hit the woodwork, like I said, the once, where how in the world that didn't go in, I don't know. They had a one-on-one attempt, they were offside twice. It makes you wonder how in the world Notts County are going in with a 1-0 deficit, going to Wimbledon at the weekend for the second leg. They were just powerless. But I think one of the biggest disappointments was the defending for the goal. It was a great ball in. I think a great ball in, I must say. It was by Jake Reeves, and what a ball in it was for Ryan Harbottle to just header it in, and what a beautiful header it was. But it was a free header. There was nobody there, and you kind of knew. And we, as a Grimsby fan, I know exactly what Wimbledon are like when it comes to getting that goal. They are so well organised where, they're able to hold on, and they were. And then Alessandro Jatta of Notts County did something really, really stupid right near the end. I think it was a red card. I know Notts County fans and some were saying it was never a red. You go in 2-footed. You give the referee a decision to make. I've looked back on that decision, and I can say, in an unbiased view, I think it was more the intent than actually anything else. But he then lashed out after the fact, which, if he wasn't going to get sent off for that tackle, I think he might have got sent off for the lash out. So, but what I've seen about what a lot of Notts County fans have said is he probably won't be a miss for the second leg. But the thing is, Wimbledon are probably the most astute team this season. They're not the most dynamic. I know a lot of Wimbledon fans are like, "Oh, but we're boring to not watch," and we're not an end-to-end, flashy team. No, what they are is organised. And Wimbledon take a 1-0 lead into their second leg. And in the end, deserved. David McGoldrick did go down in injury time as well. Notts County will be hoping that he's going to be available for the second leg, because if not, I think Notts are going to really be in a little bit of trouble. But I think Wimbledon just doing what Wimbledon do. Again, I think it's important in the game, and I'll say about the second game between Walsall and Chesterfield. But I really do think in this second leg, the next goal is going to be so crucial, because I think if Notts County do not get the opening goal next Saturday, I don't think they're winning this. Wimbledon are just so well organised, they're so well drilled in what they're doing. Yes, they're not the prettiest team, they're not the fanciest team, they're not the flashiest team. Boy, are they effective. And a 1-0 win, they go back home now, and Notts County have got a right fight on their hands if they are going to make the playoff final. We'll see what goes on. That happens Saturday lunchtime, and I'll give you a view of the results after that. But it's going to be an important 90 minutes for that. So Wimbledon have the now lead over Notts County, and if they play anything like they did, I fancy them to go to Wembley. I really do, and Notts County will have to do quite a bit to change that. So what we're going to do now is move on to the second League Two semi-final between Chesterfield and Walsall, and what I can say is this, and I have watched Walsall a lot this year through being on Sky Sports Plus a lot. This is probably the best I've seen Walsall play in, I would say, 3-4 months. And that is no exaggeration. They were able to nullify Chesterfield's threats. If we look at the teams for this game, Chesterfield started with Ryan Boot in goal, Mandeville, Palmer, McFadzean, Gordon, Metcalf, Fleck, Naylor, Olakibi, Grigg and Colclough was their starting 11. Walsall started with Simkin, Kagbu, Williams, Allen, Simway, Chang, Stirk, Liam Gordon, George Hall, Jamie Jellis and Jamil Matt up front. And Taylor Allen has been one of the standout players for Walsall really for the majority of this season. If we look at the stats for the game, Chesterfield had nearly 3/4 of the ball, and this was a prime example of possession can mean nothing. And this was going back to Walsall from the start of the season. They had so little of the ball, only about 26%. Chesterfield had 7 shots, Walsall had 6, but I can assure you it didn't feel like that. Shots on target 4 for Walsall, 3 for Chesterfield. Touches inside the box 30 for Chesterfield, only 14 for the Saddlers. 3 saves for Walsall's keeper for Sinkin, a real good save, one of them. 2 for Chesterfield. 18 fouls though were made by Walsall, only 8 for Chesterfield, and this was a prime example of Chesterfield just not taking advantage of the possession that they had. And if I'm completely honest, the first 5 minutes was all Walsall. They started a lot stronger than Chesterfield. Chesterfield started to grow in the game. They started to get their passing together. And, they were dominating the ball as they did throughout the game. And they kept trying to find Will Grigg, and they kept trying to cause Walsall's backline some real trouble. And to be fair, this was probably the most solid I've seen Walsall in a long time, where once it changed for them, it never looked like losing. They did take the lead on 28 minutes thanks to Taylor Allen, and it was a clear penalty that was awarded. It was a great ball played through, and the Chesterfield player just mistimed it, and it was a definite penalty. And Taylor Allen stepped up confidently for the Saddlers to give them the lead just before the half hour, and that kind of took the sting out of Chesterfield. They came again though. They kept trying to come again and kept believing in their game, but they started to get a bit lost. They had a lot of the ball, but in a lot of ways they weren't doing a lot with it. And it just shows that Walsall were far more effective, because they scored 5 minutes before half time. Alfie Chang with a crisp finish is what I would say for Walsall, and to put them 2 up. And really, it wasn't coasting from there, because Chesterfield, they did keep putting the pressure on. They did, they're not going to feel like this is over. But again, I think the next goal, as both these games are at half time, both these games are still in the balance per se, but it's not really helped the first legs, has it? Teams being at home, it's not really, it's supposed to be an advantage. This time it doesn't seem to have been. But I think the next goal in this game especially is crucial. I think if Chesterfield get it on Friday night, it's game on. I think if Walsall get it, you've got to say it's game over. And but Chesterfield have to. It's great having the possession. They need to be more productive, because Walsall most definitely were for the first time in a long time. They looked like a team that were together. The good thing is with these playoffs, it's now a completely different competition. It's not league form goes out the window, form goes out the window, because everyone basically had Chesterfield favourite for this, due to Walsall's form prior to this. But that they went to Chesterfield this evening, and this afternoon, sorry, and did a number on them. Not in the way of possession, but in the way of making sure that they took the chances when they got them. So a big win for Matt Sadler and his team heading into Friday night, second leg. And like I said, both games are in the balance, but I'm sure Wimbledon and Walsall will feel confident for different reasons. The only thing that Chesterfield may be hoping for is Walsall's home form recently has not been great, so they're going to feel as though maybe they can. But I think, like I said, in both games, I think the next goal is key. So a big win for Walsall and for Wimbledon in the League 2 playoffs, and it's still all to play for, really, on which of these 4 teams make it to Wembley. But both Wimbledon and Walsall will be confident that they're halfway there, and they are halfway. It's can both teams finish it off, or can the East Midlands teams in Chesterfield and in Notts County, can they pull a rabbit out of the hat? That is the question. It'll be an interesting watch, these second legs, and I'm sure now people will be looking at possibly a Wimbledon-Walsall final. But like I said, there's been in the Football League, some of the playoffs have been, especially the Peterborough one last season, I believe, which was absolutely insane. It could go either way. So well done to Walsall for the win, and Wimbledon. And we shall see next week who actually does make it to Wembley for the all-important promotion match. But at the minute, Wimbledon have the advantage in one of them, and Walsall have the upper hand in the other one. It'll be interesting to see what happens. In the meantime, guys, thank you for this for watching this little conflab of these playoffs. Do, if you are a Walsall, a Chesterfield, a Notts County, a Wimbledon fan, do leave your thoughts down below on your thoughts on the games. In the meantime, I will be back because I'm going to do this following both the second legs and including the final, with it being the league that my club is in. So I feel like it's only fair to cover these 4 teams right now. So if you are one of those 4 teams fans, do leave your comments down below for me. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll see everybody very, very soon. I'll see you soon. Ta-da.